Okay. Good evening, everyone. I hope my voice is audible and you're able to see the screen. Good evening. Okay. Right. So we're here in day 4 of data science. Yes. So today, what we'll see is we'll see about database connectivity, which I missed in your previous class. And we'll use Python to connect with your backend database. And from that database, let's take values and let's try to visualize it. Okay. So first, let's discuss about servers. Okay. So when talking about this data collection process, I said data can be collected from various mediums, right? So in that, servers comes where in picture is. Now let's say, for example, you have an application with you. It can be any type of application, a desktop application, or a web application. Can be any type, or a mobile application. Any application, in order to give access to end users to use it, you have to host that application in a server. Okay, so if an after developing, now imagine yourself as a developer who develops this application. So you have your local system where you will be developing this application. Now, if end users over the internet should use your application, you have to give it to any kind of server. Yes, and that is called hosting. Hosting comes into picture when you give your application to the internet via servers. Now, what are servers? So, where do you see servers or where you can purchase servers? You have different types of servers. You have servers for hosting your web application, which are called web servers. And you can also purchase internal servers to host your applications, internal servers. Now, these are for companies and for people who are ready to purchase, who are ready to pay and buy. All right. And for people like you to practice, yes, you have free servers, but they're not free all time. They'll give you a limited access time. And then you have local servers. All right. So when you have a server with you, now imagine this is your server and you have your application. This is your application. This application is hosted in this server. All the code of this particular application is here in this server. So when you upload your code, this application will be available for everyone to use. Okay. Now, if any user is coming and accessing your application and trying to give some data to your application, okay. So the user is trying to feed some data. He's sending some data to the application. Where will the data get stored? The data will get stored in the server. So when you have a server, you can store data inside the server. That is the concept. So how people get data? Through this medium. One of the mediums. Okay, so one of the mediums is where people use application. They give all their data to that application and all that data will get stored in a server. Now, I'll just show you one live server, a paid server. I'll show you how it looks like. Now, this is one live server here. Okay, so I log into this server. Now, this server is used to host web applications. We have hosted web applications here. I'll go to the introductory page, that is the file, dashboard. So this server was purchased from a hosting provider. Okay, it costs around 7,000 to 8,000 per year. All right. So in this server, you can host your application. To host your application, you can go to this file manager and you can upload all your files, which is in your local system. You can upload it to this server. This server is in the internet. Okay. So you can upload it here. Done. Now, where does the data get stored? Here in this server, see, you have this concept called databases. Now, I'll go to this database. I'll open any one of the database. When I open the database, this is my backend page. It is not clear. Can you adjust? Just a bit. Now? Okay. Yes, so this side, left side, if you see, this is the database. Okay, yesterday we were discussing about SQL queries. So in SQL queries, I said you can create database. Once you have a database, you can create tables, right? So this is a database. When I click on this database, see here, I have tables inside. Okay, when I go click on these tables, see these tables have columns. All these are tables and each, okay, all these are tables and inside each table, if I click, see, I have data inside. So I have the column name and then I have the data which is inside. Now this is a live server. These data are from a live application. This is how data gets collected in the backend, a backend server. You know how an application will look like. As an end user, you will open any application. You will go to any website. I'll go to prompt and protect. You will go to this website. You will see only this website. But where is this website hosted? It is hosted in this server. Okay, and whatever data is given to this particular website, whatever data people come and give to this particular website, all that data will get stored in this server. This is how application collects data and store. Okay, now this is paid. Now what option do you have to have a server something like this in your system? So for your system, if you want to practice servers, then what you can do is you can go for local servers, as I said. When I say local server, it is restricted only to your local system. So you can install these local servers in your computer. And whatever changes you do in this server, it will be applied only inside your computer. It will not affect any other people. It will not go out of your computer. That is the meaning. Okay. So local server, where can you find local servers? You have many local servers. One such local server is called exam. XAMPP is one such local server. So how do you go find XAMPP? You can just go to Google and you can type download XAMPP. When you type download XAMPP, you get this website called apachefriends.org. And here if you go, you have XAMPP for Windows, you have XAMPP for Linux, you have XAMPP for Mac OS, right? So you can download any version you want. You have 3 versions available. You can download any version you want. Once you download, installation process is very simple. Just click on next, next, next and install, it will install. Now, as I said, this is a server, which means you can't see it as an application. Now, when you install Photoshop, you can open it and use like an application, GUI application, right? But since this is a server, you cannot use it like kind of an application. Now, once you install XAMPP in your system, so first step for today, you will download and install XAMPP. And after you do that, where will this XAMPP get stored or installed locally? You have to go to my computer and open local disk C. When you open local disk C, see here you find a folder called XAMPP. You will get this folder once you install. After you install, you can see this folder, right? Now, how do you use this server? Now, to use this server, you will open this folder, XAMPP folder. Open this folder and scroll down. Scroll down, you will find 3 options here. This with these 3 icons, right? One is XAMPP start, one is XAMPP stop, and another one is XAMPP control. You have to open XAMPP control. Double click on XAMPP control. Or another way of opening this is you can just go to start. Go to start and type XAMPP. It will show you the control panel. You have to open this. Once you open this XAMPP control panel, a dialog box like this will open. Okay, so this is a dialog box which will open. Now in this dialog box, right, you have many modules which XAMPP gives you for free to use it in your system. So what module we need is, we need the first 2 modules, Apache and MySQL, so that you can use a local server in your system. So what I will do is I will go click on this start button. Start button, and see here at the bottom you should get this message called running. When you get this message called running, it means it has started. And next you will click on the MySQL start button, and again it should show running, and you will get this port, in which port it is running. Here in this step, few people might get error. For me, it started perfectly, no issues. But for you, sometimes it will show you some error in this particular area. It will show you some error in red code. And if you read that error, it will say something like the port which you are trying to start is blocked by another application. Okay, which means now by default, this MySQL will start in this 3306 port. If any other application in your system is accessing this port, it will not allow it to start. So for that, to rectify that error, I've given the command in your notes itself. Here, to rectify that error, what you can do is you can go to command prompt, and type this first line command. So you will just go to your command prompt, and if you are not able to start, where is this exam? I closed it. Okay. Let me open it. If you're not able to start the Apache server, you will give 80. If you're not able to start the MySQL, you will give 3306. So when you type this command in MySQL, it is going to show you which particular application is trying to, has blocked this particular port. And it'll give you a number, a listening number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, kind of some number. Next, what you have to do is you have to take this command, and whatever number it is displaying, this code, whatever number it displays, you have to replace that with this number, 1, 2, 3, 4, and click on enter. That particular service will be stopped. And then you can go to your exam and try giving start button, it will start. Okay, so this in order to rectify your error. Now, after you start, how do you use your exam? You have to go to browser. After all this, you have to go to browser, and in the URL, not in the Google, but in the URL, you have to type something called localhost. Now I'll go here, I'll go select my URL, and in URL, I'll type localhost. So when I click localhost, I should get a page like this. If you get a page like this, it means XAMPP is installed and you have a local server ready in your system. Okay, this is free. You don't have to buy. Right now, here in this menu, if I go click on PHP My Admin, it is going to open the backend server page. Now, this backend server page in our system looks similar to the one which I showed you in the paid server, right? Earlier I showed you, this is my paid server. If I go open PHP My Admin, it is again going to look similar to this page. Yes, so this is a paid server and this is a free server which we have installed in our system. All right. Now, we discussed about, I'll close my paid server. We don't need it now. Okay. Now this side, in a free server, if you see, for you, you won't have so much. I've created so many databases. But this left hand side, this represents database. Okay. This represents database. Now, how do you create a database? You just have to go click on this new icon. Click on new icon and then it will ask you for a database. Now let's create a database name. Data Science Internship. Data Science Internship as a database name. Okay. And don't change anything. Just give a name to database and click on create. So once I click on create, see here, I have the database created. Once the database is created, you can click on the database, select the database, and it will ask you to create a table. Now we learned queries to do this, right? Create table and all that. But see how simple here it will allow us to create table. So for this table, I'm going to give a name called users, and it is going to have 3 columns. Okay, and I'll click on create. So once I click on create, it is going to ask me to enter the column names. So table name is going to be users. What columns are we going to have? So we're going to have a column called ID. We'll have name and then we'll have email. 3 columns. And then you can give a data type. You can give varchar or you can give int. You can give varchar and then email also you can give varchar. And you have to specify the length. So ID length will be 10, name length will be 20 and email length will be 30. That's it. Other details, if you want, you can see what it is asking and you can give. But by default, you have to give all these three data. And then come down and click on this save button. That's it. We have created a table inside our database. As simple as that. Instead of writing queries. But if you say you wanted to write queries to do this, where can I go, right? You have this option at the top called SQL, right? Click on SQL. It will give you an editor. So here you can write all the queries which we learned in our previous two classes. You can write create query, you can do insert, you can do update and all that. All the queries you can write and execute. For some operations, we have GUI. Let's say for inserting now inside this table, users table, if you wanted to insert data, you can either go to SQL and you can write query, or another option is you have this insert menu here. Go click on this insert menu, and inside this insert menu, it will ask you just to enter the value. That's it. So I'll just give 101 and name will be Saumata and email will be sau@gmail.com and I'll click on go. What will happen? One row will be added to my table. If I go click on my table, it will show the table along with the data here. 101 name and the email ID. Another option, you can go to SQL and you can select this insert. By default, it will give you the syntax and all. If you click on this insert button, you just have to change the values here. That's it. So ID is going to be 102 and name is going to be Shri and email is going to be shri@gmail.com. And then at the bottom, click on go. Again, another row got inserted. So now we have a table with 2 rows. This way you can insert data, right? Now, if you want, you can edit, modify, do all that inside the server itself. This is one option. All right. Now, we don't have to know that. This, when you have free time, you can just go inside, you can use this editor and practice and all that. What we'll do now is we'll go to our Python. Okay. So, we have PyCharm in our system, right? We have this PyCharm ID in our system. And then we have exam. Now, this is a separate application and this is a separate application. They don't have any connection. Yes, so what we are going to do is we are going to create a connection between your PyCharm and your exam. So to create a connection between PyCharm and exam, you need a package to install. And what is that package called? That package is called mysql-connector-python. I've written the package name here, I guess. Yes, this is the package which you need. mysql-connector-python. This is a package which you have to install in your PyCharm. Go to PyCharm, go to packages, search for mysql-connector-python and install that package. Okay, so you will install this package. With the help of this package, the first step what we will do is we will establish connection. We will establish connection with your backend server. Okay. Now, to establish connection in Python, what details you will need by default is, now this is a server. I said it is a server. It is a local server. By default, this local server has a name. Okay. That is called host name. And then it has a username. And then it has a password. You need to know these details. For exam, the host name will always be localhost. That is how we are trying to access it. Yes. So the host name will be localhost. And the default username for exam is going to be root. And password is nothing. We'll leave blank. This is the default credentials. All right. So now in Python, we are going to create 4 variables which will store these 4 data. And then we are going to use this MySQL connector package to establish connection. So how are we going to do that? We'll go to Python. I'll create a new file, sample.py. Okay. So in this, first what we will do is we will import. So first you have to import the connector which you have installed. After import, what are you going to do is you're going to create a connection. And for that connection, using MySQL connector, you're going to create a connection, and inside that connection, you're going to give 4 details. These 4 details are the details of your server. So the host will be localhost, the user will be root, the password will be leave blank, so nothing. You don't have to type anything, just ports. And then you also have to give the database name. Now here we created a database, right? What is our database name? DS Internship, right? So I'll give the database name as DS Internship. This will be our database name. Okay. So this is your connection statement for all the programs which we are going to see. This first 5 or 6 lines are going to be same. You don't have to change it. Once done, next step is we will establish the connection. So we'll check whether the connection is established or not using if. If the connection is established, we are going to take all these details. Okay. So first detail, what are we trying to get? We are trying to get the server information. Whatever server is already installed, we are trying to get the server information through get underscore server underscore info. It is a default function inside your package. And we will save it inside this variable db underscore info. And then we'll print it. Okay, so first thing, we are collecting the server information. Next, you have something called cursor in Python. In Python, cursor is an object. Why do you use cursor in Python? From Python, if you wanted to execute your SQL queries, you have to use this object. So cursor is an object which will help you execute SQL queries in PyCharm. Alright, so I will create an object for cursor, and then using the function called execute, I can write all the SQL queries. So inside this, you can write whatever SQL query you want. As of now, I have just tried to get the database name. So select database will give the database name, and then I am storing it inside record. So this fetch one is a function which will get the output and it will store it inside this variable. Okay, these are the 3 things you have to understand. One is you're creating cursor object, and then you're executing the SQL statement, and whatever the result the SQL statement is going to give, you're collecting that and you're storing it in your Python variable. 3 steps: creating object and then executing your SQL statement, collecting the output and storing it inside a variable. And then you're trying to print whatever you have received. So when I run this program, I'll click on save and I'll run it. So when we go to console, see, the connection got established and the first statement print connected to MySQL server version, and it is showing our version. And then it is saying you're connected to the database, and the database name which we've connected is the database internship. This is how you establish connection. Okay, so by default, these are common lines. Importing the connector, and then establishing connection, and then checking whether the connection is established or not. These are default queries. Now, after this, you can add extra queries, whatever you want. Now, what we are going to do is, after establishing the connection, inside our database, we have a table called users, and we have 2 datas here, right? We are going to take this data from this server, and we will try to display it here in Python. Okay, so the second step which we are going to do after establishing connection is we are going to fetch user table from database. From your database, you're going to fetch the user table data and you will print in Python. Now, where is this user table? User table is here. It has ID, it has name, and then it has email column, right? Your table is here, and from this table, you're going to take all the data and you're going to print it in PyCharm. All right. So how to do that? Again, you will establish connection and you will check whether it is connected or not. right? After the connection, just copy this and show it to you in PyCharm. Okay. First things first, you will import and then you will establish connection and you will check whether the connection is connected. Okay. After that, you will create a cursor object. Okay. So once you create the cursor object, you have to execute your SQL query. See what query I have executed here. Select star from table name. This is the SQL query which I have written in set. Okay. And now this is going to give me output. Yes. So I am trying to fetch the output using fetch all function. And I'm trying to store it inside the records. Now, the data from this table, 101 and 102 data, is actually inside our records table. What did I do? Okay. So data which is inside user table is now inside our records variable. Now your task is to display that data back here. Since we have two rows, you have to use a loop. If you only have one data, you don't have to use loop. You can directly use a print statement. But since you have two rows here, you will use a for loop. So we are writing a for loop. So for a counter variable called row, and you're going to give this record. So from records, each and every value is going to get assigned in row. And how are you trying to print it? You're trying to print using the index element. Now this side, in this table, this ID index is 0, this name index is 1, and the email index is 2. So when you try to fetch row of 0, it is going to fetch the ID value. When you try to fetch row of 1, it is going to fetch the name value. When you try to fetch row of 2, it is going to get the email value. Now, when I run this program, see here, it's giving me output. It is fetched 101, 102, 104, and 105 we have. Okay, it is fetching from another database, DB. I have another database called MyDB here. Where is it? And I have a table inside users. So it is fetching from this table. Now, if you wanted to fetch from this table, we'll change the database name to DS Internship. Database Internship, I'll save, then I'll run. It'll fetch only two data, 101 and 102. So now from your backend server, you bought all the data to your PyCharm. Okay, you understood this flow. Now from here, if you wanted to modify from here, you can do that. Now instead of select, okay, here what I'll do is instead of displaying all the details, I'll just give where ID equal to 101. If I want only one particular user, I can edit the query here, ID equal to 101, and then I'll try to run. When I try to run, it is showing me only 101 data. Okay, it will show only 101 data. So you can write whatever query you want. Based on what data you're looking for, you can modify the query here. So yesterday I told you, table or a database will not just have two values like this. A table will have thousands of records. So in that, if you want a specific part of record, we saw so many queries yesterday, like pattern-based searching, based on conditions, yes? So you can give any type of query based on your condition, and you can bring that particular data inside your Python. Okay. Now, if I want to update, I can do that from here. Update users, set name equal to, we'll give some other name, Anish, where ID equal to 101. So instead of what name is there in 101, my name, what we'll do is we'll try to change. So this cursor is trying to execute this query and we are not expecting any output here. It is not going to return any data. It is just going to update it here, right? So for that, what you have to do, you don't have to use fetch all. You just have to use this particular command called connection.commit. And then I'll just change this print statement to updated details and I'll remove this for. Okay, so what we have done is we've created a cursor object. We've given an SQL query. Now, once this SQL query gets updated, executed, we are trying to commit. What will this commit function do? It will make the changes permanent in this database. It will permanently change. So connection.commit and updated details. Now I'll save and then I'll run. You see if it is updating. No. Why? I made some error. Update users table. Where is our, okay, users table? Column name is name only, right? Name equal to Anish. Where ID equal to 101. Okay. Where ID equal to 101. And I'll save and I'll run. Yes, the detail got updated. And when you go back, you refresh your table, the name gets changed to Anish. This way you can update the table from Python also. So whenever you update or delete, whatever action you're doing in the database, you have to use the commit function. Only then the data will get stored. Got this point? Okay. Now, before continuing, let me share the attendance sheet with the online participants. Day 4 attendance. People online, fill in your attendance sheet. And guys, only if you're filling in your attendance sheet during the session, that will be taken into consideration. All right. Not filling the attendance sheet after the session, or maybe after 2 days, if you fill the attendance sheet from taking this form link from YouTube channel, it will not be considered. So make sure you're attending live classes and filling the attendance sheet. That is the only requirement for you to get your certificate. Okay, where did the photo? Okay, it's here. Right. Now what we'll do, now that we have the data here in our Python, after fetching the data, let's do data visualization. So the concept goes something like this. You have a data in your server. In your server, you have the data. Okay. So in Python, from Python, what you're trying to do is you're trying to fetch this data. And now you have that data here. Yes, after you fetch the data, we'll use this data to graphically visualize. Display graphically. Like we'll use either bar, or we'll use scatter plot or pie chart to visualize the data. We'll do all this in a single program. So in one program, you're going to establish connection to the server, and then you're going to fetch the data. You'll store it in Python, and then you will create data visualization concepts to display the output. All in one program. All right. Now for that you need, we'll take this table. Name, math, do I have this table with me? Let me check. My DB student course. Okay, I have the table, but I don't have data. Let me try to insert. We'll try to insert into this student course code. So I'll just click on insert, and inside values, I'll just paste this. So Alice will have quotations, and we'll click on go. Inserted. Okay. One more insert. Why I'm doing all this in live class is because you have an assignment based on this. So when you do your assignment, it will help you. And that is why I'm doing it in live class, and click on go. Charlie. It's SQL. Insert values. This is the data.csv file which I gave you for your previous assignments. So now we have inserted all the data here. Go. All right. So now we have the student scores table, which has these details, 5 student details. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll first establish the connection. Okay. Once the connection is established, after you establish the connection, we'll just select everything from the student table and we'll store it inside records. So till this, you know what is happening. Yes. Now all the details are inside records. After this, all the details from student record will come to this records, right? So then what you're going to do is you're going to create a data frame. You're going to create a data frame with this data. So you will type df equal to, you use pandas and you create a data frame. You will pass the data that is stored inside records and you will give columns for that data frame as name, math, science and English, because we have here name, math, science and English. So you will give the same column names. Now you have a data frame with you. Okay. So first step, you will establish connection. Second step, you will fetch the data. And third step, with the data that you have fetched, you will create a data frame. Okay. So once you have a data frame, you can start plotting. So first, what we are trying to do is we are trying to set the index. Okay. Now set index as name. What is the meaning of this particular line? Now, when you create a data frame of this, how will the data frame gets created? The data frame looks something like this, df data frame. It will have name, it will have math, science and English, and it is going to have the values of all the 5 participants, 5 students, and then it is going to have an index column here, 0, 1, 2, 3. This is how the data frame will look like after you create. Okay. Now in this line, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set the index as the name column. Now this is our index by default now. Now once I give that code, this name will become the index. And this will vanish. Then your data frame is going to look something like this with index. Why are we setting name value as index? In future, if you wanted to edit or if you wanted to display data, you can easily access with the help of student names rather than index, because you know the names. You won't know the index or the order, right? That is why we are trying to set the name column as the index column. And then you're trying to plot. So what kind of plot are we trying? We are trying to plot the bar chart. Okay, so df, that is you're taking the data frame and you're creating a plot function, and the kind of plot that you're going to do is bar, and fig size is nothing but the figure size, that is the image size, 10 bar 6. Okay, and then this plot is going to have a title student scores, the x-axis value is going to be students, and the y-axis value is going to be stores. Like you're just giving names for x-axis and y-axis, and then the rotation will be in 45 degree, and then you're giving the show function. Let me copy this and let's go to Python and I'll paste it here. So we have 3 packages used, your MySQL connector, your pandas to create data frames, and then your matplotlib to create a bar chart. Okay, so you're establishing connection, you're checking the connection, you're fetching the data, and then with the fetched data, you're creating a data frame, and after you create a data frame, you're creating a bar chart all together in a single program. And this last 3 lines, I didn't tell you, whenever you open a connection, whenever a connection is established with the server, every time you open, you have to close. So once you finish, your last 3 lines will always be this. Like you have to close the cursor and the connection. That is again default line. Now let me save and let's try to run this program. Run this program. So it's running. Do we have any output here? No. And see, we have the bar chart created. This bar chart is based on your backend server. This one. Backend server, this data. We took this data, we brought it inside Python, And then we have classified this. The heading of this bar chart is student scores. And then it has an x-axis value that is students. It is here at the bottom students, and then it is scores. And for each student, their color is set. Their marks for math, science, and English. Alice, Bob, Charlie, David, and Eva. Okay, this is bar. What if you wanted to plot a pie chart? Now for pie chart, when you try to plot a pie chart, by default you have to give, you have to create separately for each subject. You can't have all the details in a single pie chart, right? So you have to create 3 pie charts, one for math, one for science, and one for English. All right. So again, the same goes. You will establish the connection and then you will fetch the data. After you fetch the data, you will store it inside data frame and you will set the index. Till this is all same. After math, what you will do is you will create a pie chart. First, the figure size will be 10 by 6. And then you're going to use the math column to create a pie chart. Auto PCT, this attribute, what it will do, it will convert all your marks into percentage values. So it will be in dot value. So percentage, say 25, if a mark of one particular student percentage is 25, it will show you in point value, 25.0. So this 0.1 F denotes the decimal value. All right. And start angle will be in 90 degrees. And legend true will show you the information, just like how it showed. Okay, take this code first and let's try how it's printing the output. Okay, so first we are trying to create a pie chart for maths course. Yes, and we have given title. If you want, you can give x-axis, y-axis values. And then we have it for science. And then we have for English. All right. Now, when you run this program, I'll run this program. So when I run this program, first it should show the math pie, right? So this is our math pie. This is the legend. This part, no? This is called legend. And you have the math pie. So for Alice, Bob, Charlie, and David, we have the percentage value of their math marks. And if you wanted to see the next mark, next one is science pie, right? To see the science pie, you close this, you will get the science score distribution pie. And then you close this, you will get the English score distribution in pie chart. Okay, this is how you create pie charts and bar charts. Yes, now for your day 2 assignment, day 4 assignment, Day 4 assignment, what you are going to do is in your exam, you're going to install exam in your system. You're going to create a database called My Database and you will create a table called sales data. And that table is going to have this columns: sales ID, product, category, sales amount, and sales date. I am not going to give you values. You can put your own values inside this table. So at least add 10 records to this table. After you create, just give 10 values to this table. Now you have a table ready. All right. Next step, from Python, you're going to establish connection with this database. And you will retrieve the values and you will store it in a variable. Okay. But then how are you going to retrieve? You're not just going to type select star from student scores. No, I have a condition for you. First condition is you're going to query to get the total sales amount per product. So when you insert data inside this particular table, make sure you're giving repeated products. Okay, try to give 2 products, 2 rows with the same name, so that you can get the total sales amount per product. Now if you are adding a product called fan, just add 2 or 3 fans with same name and add the value. Add price amount for that, product amount for that, sales amount for that, so that you will get the total sales. And tell me what SQL command will you use to get this total sales for a particular product? Sum function. And another, if you want to group as per the product, you use group by. Yes, that one. And again, another query to get the total sales amount per category. So based on category, based on the sale amount, you're going to take two queries. So you're going to fetch two data and you will store it inside two variables. Okay. So here I've written only one query. You will repeat it. You just copy paste it and you will write for the next query here, and you will store it inside another variable called record2 something. Once you've got these two, what you have to do is you have to use pandas to create data frames. For creating data frames alone, I've just given you a hint here. How to create a data frame for the data which you already have. This product sales will be your variable name. This one, this record's name. Okay. And the columns will be, you will take product and the total sales as the column. And for second data frame, you're going to have a name for record 2. This name is going to be category sales, or you can keep record 2, whatever name you want. And then the column name, you're going to take category and total sales. So when you fetch data here, you're going, for the first query, you're going to fetch the product and total sales. For second query, you're going to fetch the category and the total sales. Okay, understand this and then do. Next, what you will do is you use Matplotlib. For the first query, that is the total sales amount per product, you will create bar chart. You will use bar chart to display the first query. For the second query, you will use the pie chart. Yes, for second query, to get the total sales amount per category, you will use pie chart. All right, so this is going to be your day 4 assignment. And how are you going to submit your day 4 assignment? Day 4 assignment, you will submit it as a document. So I will give you in Google Form only one option to upload. So you will be uploading the document. Inside your document, you should have the code, what code you've written in Python, and the output screenshot. All this should be inside your document. Output screenshot of the bar chart and the pie chart. These two screenshots. And the code. You will put it inside one document and you will upload this one document to the Google Form. Okay. So in one document, you will have all the outputs written. This is how you will submit your Google Form for today. This is your day 4 assignment based on what we have seen so far. All right. Now that we have done with Matplotlib and Pandas, there is this another package called NumPy. NumPy stands for numerical Python, right? So this particular package is used for numerical computing, where you have this arrays, you have matrix, and you wanted to calculate with those values, you can use NumPy. So it is going to support arrays, it's going to support matrix and wide range of mathematical functions. So this is another powerful package in Python which will help you with mathematical calculations. So for this, again, you have to go to PyCharm, go to your Python packages, search for NumPy and install NumPy first. This is the NumPy package. So you will install this package. Once you've installed this particular package, you can practice this code. Why are we seeing NumPy now? Because as of our next topic, we need to start with few algorithms, not all the algorithms, but how much time permits, we'll see algorithms. And for using algorithms, you need to know this particular package. That's why I'm giving you a introduction of what this package is all about. Now, once NumPy is installed, you have to import, and then NumPy allows you to create array. And how do you create an array? You will create an array using the array function, which is inside NumPy. So np.array, and this is going to create a single dimensional array. So when I run this, look at the output. You have an array with single dimension 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If you want to create a matrix, then you can again use the same array function and you will give two set of values. So 1, 2, 3 and 3, 4, 5. Now this is going to create a matrix. When I run, see how the output looks like. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in matrix format. Okay, matrix. If you want to create an array with all zeros, this. So what will happen? It is going to have 3 rows, 3 columns, but it is going to have all zeros. When I run, see, You have 3 rows, 3 columns, but all the values are zeros. An empty array. Or if you want to create ones for 2 rows and 4 columns, you will have all ones. So these are some default functions which are there in array. 2 rows and 4 columns with all ones. Okay, done. And if you don't want to sit and type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you just want to create a range, you can give a range function. So range array. So what this will do is it will create an array from 0 to 9. So I'll click on run and see. It is given as a one-dimensional array and the range is from 0 to 9. If I give 20, it will create till 20. 30, it will create till 30. This helps you generate array automatically. Now, using array, as I told you, you can perform mathematical operations, right? Using NumPy. So one such is sum. So you can create 2 arrays and then, you can just use the plus operator and you can try adding these 2 arrays. So when we add these 2 arrays, what is the output we get? 5, 7 and 9. 1 plus 4 is 5, 2 plus 5 is 7 and 3 plus 6 is 9. And similarly for product. Again, for product, it is going to multiply. 1 into 4, 4, 5 into 2, 10, and 6 into 3, 18. And then, if you wanted to multiply the matrix, you can create matrix and you can multiply these 2 matrix. To multiply these 2 matrix, you need to have this function called dot, a default function. Okay. Now, I'll copy this. I'll paste it here. We have 2 matrix here. 1, 2, 3, 4, one matrix, and this is 5, 6, 7, 8, another matrix. And we are trying to multiply these 2 matrix using the dot function, and you're storing it inside another variable. I'll print it. The output which I got is 19, 22, 43, and 50. Can you try to explain how we got this output? We'll try to print mat1 and mat2 so that we'll know how the matrix looks like. So this is how the matrix looks like. The first matrix is 1, 2, 3, 4. Second matrix is 5, 6, 7, 8. And the multiplication which we did, this is the answer, 19, 22, 43, and 50. Any idea? See, the array looks something like this. What are the numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. 1, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? We have an array like this. I mean, a matrix like this. This is mat1 and this is mat2. When you use the dot function, how it gets multiplied is, first it will multiply this and this. And then it will multiply 1, 2 with 6 and 8. And it is going to add both the values, right? So first it is going to be 1 into 5 and then 2 into 7. Am I right? 1 into 5 and 2 into 7. And then it is going to again add 1 into 6 and 2 into 8. So the answer would be 19. Okay. And then 3 into 5 and 4 into 7. And then 3 into 6 and 4 into 8. You will get the answer 22. Similarly, 43 and 50. This is how multiplication happens, right? First, one row with all the 2 columns and the second row with the other 2 columns. This is with dot function. Okay. And then you have arrays with which you can calculate the mean, median, and mode values, standard deviation values. See, we have a matrix. And if you wanted to calculate the mean value of this matrix, you can use mean function. If you want to calculate the standard deviation, you can use the std function. For median, again, you have median function. So you can use this to calculate the corresponding values. And you can create an array, and if you want, you can reshape that array. Now here I have created a single dimensional array. This will create a single dimensional array. After creating a single dimensional array, I can reshape that array into a matrix, something like 2 rows and 5 columns. Let's copy this. I'll paste it and I'll show you the output. So first it is a single dimensional array, this one. Okay. After math, we have tried to use reshape function, which is trying to reshape into 2 rows and 5 columns. So we here have 2 rows and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 columns. That is reshape function. All right. And to access, again, you can use the index option. So from an array, if you want to access any element, you can use the square brackets to access. So here inside this array, we have 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me print it first. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. And we are trying to access the second row and third column. So second row and the third column value is 6. So 1, 2. Why is it 1, 2? Because it starts from 0. So this is 0 and this is 0th row and this is first row. Again, this is 0th column, this is first column, this is second column. All right, you can access accordingly. And then you have this colon also. Colon will help you with accessing the entire row or entire column. So here it is going to display all the rows and only the second column. All the rows, but only the second column, 2 and 5. 2, 5. All right, this is with NumPy. So NumPy helps you again with creating arrays, matrix, and performing calculations with that. Practice this for today in your PyCharm, okay? Because tomorrow when we deal with algorithms, you will come across this concept called NumPy and you should have an understanding of how this works. All right. Let's meet tomorrow then. Thank you guys.